Hey guys, so if you watched my birthday haul video, then you know that I bought the NYX In Your Element Earth palette and I didn't really have much good to say about it. That isn't fair because I only used it one time, and when I used it as an eyeshadow primer that day, I had used, yesterday, as an eyeshadow primer, I had used concealer. I do that sometimes. Normally concealer makes a good eyeshadow primer, but to be fair, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this palette again with you today, and I'm going to use it in a different way. Instead of recreating the exact same look that I had on yesterday, why not do something a little different and show you a different way that I would use it. But this time I'm going to use the NYX HD High Definition Eyeshadow Base because this is a legit eyeshadow base, so why not? So I already have all my makeup on with the exception of my eyeshadows, eyeliner, and mascara. So I'm just going to put some of this on the eye area and blend it in. And we'll see if this performs differently with a legitimate eyeshadow base. Maybe it will make a difference, maybe it won't. I was doing some swatches of this palette this morning, and if you just swatch it on bare skin and then you try to blend the eyeshadows together, you get, I don't know, the shadows themselves don't seem to blend together and it starts to get muddy, and I don't know, it's just the swatches themselves aren't even. Like you'll do a swatch and one part will look darker than the other, so they just don't blend well. But you know, when you're doing swatches like that on your skin, you don't put eyeshadow base down. So maybe this will make a difference. So that's what I figured I would do. Okay, so eyeshadow base is on and blended. Now yesterday I used a lot of eyeshadows, and that's why I ran into problems, I think, because I used a lot of shadows and they didn't blend well together. So I'm going to use less shadows this time and maybe it will work better. Yesterday I had on this shadow right here was my highlighter. That shade is too dark for me to use as a highlighter. A highlighter ideally should be no darker than your own skin tone, but ideally you would like it to be lighter than your skin tone, otherwise it can't do the actual highlighting job that it's supposed to do. So this shade is too dark for me to use as a highlighter, so I'm gonna have to pull in something else. I used the gold, I used this red, I used this green, that green, and I used that brown. I was trying to use a lot of different shadows to see how they would perform. So this time I'm going to use less. And what I can tell you after swatching all these shadows is this shade right here. It's like a berry color. It's stunning. I absolutely love it. I'm definitely using that in today's look. And this green up here I think is so pretty, and I'm going to use that along the lower lash line. And what was the other one I decided to use? This one right here is kind of a unique shade. It's like a sort of a rust color. And the reason why I'm going to use those the way I'm using them is because this is matte, so I'm going to use that in the crease. This is matte, so I'm going to drag that along my lower lash line, but you can use a shimmery shade too there if you wanted to. But this is a shimmer. This is kind of like MAC Cranberry, but doesn't have as much lightness to it. But it does lighten up when you swatch it. So that's what I'm going to do today. And I'll have to, like I said, I'll have to pull in a highlight shade from somewhere else. So let me start with that berry shade so you can see how pretty that is. It is just such a stunning shade. So I'm just going to put some of that on a MAC 239 shader brush. And I'm going to put that all over the lid. Now, right away, I can tell that over an eyeshadow base, instead of a concealer, this is performing quite different than what happened when I used a concealer as an eyeshadow base yesterday. So I guess you just can't do that with this palette, because this is going on very nice, very smooth, very even, and very pigmented. So quite a different experience than what I encountered yesterday. And what I think I'll do is I'm gonna just do one eye to save time, and then when I finish with it, I'll recreate it on the other eye. Okay, yeah, that was a totally different experience than what I had before. Okay, so this rust type shade, I'm going to use a NYX, no I'm not, I'm going to use an e.l.f. blending brush. I thought I had grabbed a NYX brush, but I didn't. Okay, so just kind of dabbing that in there. I'm not going to take a lot because it's always better to start slow and then not wonder how in the world you're going to blend something out. So starting on the outside edge or the outside corner, go right in the crease. And once again, this seems to be applying and blending evenly, and I'm not having any trouble with it. So that's what the problem was, I guess, yesterday. I'm so relieved because I didn't want to not like this palette. I wanted to like it. Because the color scheme is really pretty, and it's very on trend with what we're seeing in a lot of other palettes. I mean, these greens make me think so much of the Subculture palette, and you also have a lot of greens in the Morphe Jaclyn Hill palette, so greens are very much on trend. I went to pick up a few groceries yesterday, and at Walmart, and while I was there, I ended up getting this shirt. I really like the little camo print on the pocket over the chest area, but I didn't have any shirts this shade of green, and I was like, I really should grab this while I can, because there's so many eyeshadow palettes and so much going on with this green for fall this year. Because I figured I could always put a sweater or jacket or something over this, and that way I can still incorporate the green. But this was like, I don't know, $7 or something. I love Walmart for incorporating specific colors of clothing into my wardrobe, because, you know, I don't always have time to drive all the way to Primark, which is my favorite clothing store. If you saw yesterday's birthday haul, then you know that. But sometimes I am looking for a specific shade to implement into my wardrobe, so I'll just grab something at Walmart just to do that. Okay. So I'm just slowly building this up. This shade seems to correspond pretty well with the color I put on my lid. As a matter of fact, it's just a slightly deeper shade. The tones are sort of similar. So now I'm going to take a small pencil brush. This is from Zoeva, and I'm going to grab some of that beautiful hunter green shade and put that on the pencil brush and just bring that along the lower lash line. Just taking a little bit at a time. So that incorporates the green. And okay, we still need a highlight shade, so I'll go grab that. So for my face contour, I have on the NYX Wonder Stick. So I thought it might be a good idea if I flipped it over and used the other side, which is supposed to be a highlight. It's just like a matte beige. And this is very yellow, but I think it would tie in with this eye look good. So what I'm going to do is take a small brush. Let's see. This is an Essence brush. They don't have a full line of brushes. Every once in a while you'll just see like a single brush in that section. They're okay. Really super inexpensive, but so I'm just kind of dabbing some of that Wonder Stick on there, and I'm going to pop that right in the brow bone area. So that's just going to brighten the area and give it a little bit of a yellow tinge. And I'm also going to do that as an inner corner highlight. That worked out pretty good. Okay, now here's where it gets tricky. I can leave this alone or I can keep building with other colors, but it feels like when I do that, that's when things start to go wrong. Trying to put too many of these shades together. So let's see, if I was going to do something else, I would do like maybe a crease color. I don't know, I think it looks pretty just the way it is. I really don't want to mess this up. If I try to put a brown or something in that crease, I have a feeling it's just not going to fly. Or what if I took that same green shade and put some of that in the crease as well? Okay, well you can see what it looks like with just these two colors, so I'm going to go for it. I'm going to put that same hunter green, I'm going to put it in the crease. So let's see. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this e.l.f. brush, it's a contour brush, and I'm going to pick up a little bit of that green. And what if I just put it, instead of running it the whole way, what if I just put it in the outer crease? That might work. And what if I took it down and made it like a V situation? Ooh, that gives me an idea. What if I also put a little bit on the outside part of the lid? I'm going to flip over the 239 brush I was using before and try that. Maybe then the colors won't look so awkward. like that. They actually blended okay together. Okay, that's all right. Just gonna blend this part of it a little more. All right, now I can't help myself. I'm gonna take the gold and pop it in the center, and I'm gonna do that with my finger because I want perfect placement. So that's gonna be like a sunrise type halo thing. Yay! Okay, so that's what made the difference then, is using an eyeshadow base. So I apologize, NYX, for what I said about this palette in yesterday's video. I guess it is all right. Let me do the other eye and come right back. All right, so I just did the other eye, and now let's put on some eyeliner. I have this NYX Slide On Glide On eyeliner in tropical green. Instead of just using black or brown or something like that, I thought it would be really fun to incorporate that one of the beautiful green colors from the palette as an eyeliner. I feel like these green shades came out last year and people were a little apprehensive with them, but now all the companies are just going full out with this green shade and similar ones. All right, and I'm gonna curl my lashes. And I'm gonna use NYX Stacked Lush Lashes Mascara. Wow, that is really colorful. So, you know, you can obviously do something a lot tamer, but if you wanted to incorporate a lot of colors, you could do something like what I just did. The only problem that I see now, or the only criticism, is this shade right here is too dark for a highlight shade. I wish that, you know, if they wanted to incorporate it, I mean, it's a pretty color, but if they wanted to incorporate something like that in there, it would have been nice to have two options. They could have done this for somebody who was like medium to deep tone skin as a highlight, and then maybe pop a lighter one in there too, and then it would have been fine. But I love that they put so many greens in here, because there are 4 greens in this palette. And then there's 2 browns, a gold, a couple of red tones, an orangey tone. Well, actually there's like a peach and then an orange. But yeah, it is really, really pretty. and I feel like you can get super creative with this. So yeah, I really do enjoy this now. You have to use a traditional eyeshadow primer. You can't just use your foundation or a concealer or anything like that under it, and then everything will blend together and you won't have any problems. This is a $30 palette though, so if you're gonna get it, or one of the other In Your Element palettes, I would really recommend that you do it this week because all NYX is 30% off at Ulta. So that would be the time to do it. That way you'll only have to pay $20. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to me already, please hit that subscribe button and I will see you in my next video. Bye. Thanks so much for watching.